Hi everyone, it's Sean Havens with the Benefit Haven, and back again for another video going through the sales cycle. We've done the warm-up, the fact finder, and now we're going to move into the transition and presentation portion. It's important to always have a transition into the next process so that they can follow. Even though you may not say this is a transitional point to your prospect, they feel it. They know they're going through a process, and it's kind of subliminal, so that you're walking them through the warm up, the fact finder, the presentation, the takeaway, the close. So this is how we do it. So we're going to go over that. But first, before we do that, make sure that you're subscribing to our channel, guys. Go down there and punch the like for us. And if you have any comments or anything, any videos that you want to go over, products or whatever it is, make sure you put that down there, and we'd love to make a video specifically for that, or answer any questions that you have. We can do that as well. Okay, so let's get into the transition and presentation. So after we do the warm up, the fact finder, okay, we've gathered all the information. Now, even if we wanted to in the fact finder go into a product right away, we want to make sure we hold off, because this is important, that we go through the process. We know exactly what we're going to do today. Okay, if I've learned one major thing in this business about being successful, is making sure that if there's a sale that day, we get it, right? And the way we do it is making sure that we're going after what's important to them today, because that's what creates urgency. If we're just trying to push a product or sell something to them, then none of this works, right? We're going to have a much lower ratio, the appointment to sales ratio. So if you do it this way, your ratio is going to go up, because now you're talking about something important to them. You're spending time in the warm-up, in the fact finder, asking them questions about what's important to them. So they're walking through the process with us. You can do a great presentation on a product, right? But they don't care at all, because it's not important to them. They don't need it. So you could think that, what's wrong? I did this great presentation. I followed everything to the T. But if they don't care about that, they don't need that, if there's no interest, then you're wasting your time, right? There's no value to them. The value is asking them questions and understanding where they're at. Okay, so that's what we're going to go into, and that's where the transition is. The transition is a question. Okay, so we're gonna first review the fact finder. So we're gonna go in. If you have a fact finder similar to this here, okay, and I'll link that. If you get into our VIP group, I'll post a fact finder in there for you, and that's the Mentor Haven VIP group on thebenefithaven.com. I'll post those in there for you so that you have them. But if you have a fact finder, and you should have a written fact finder, you're going to now summarize what you just went through. So you just asked all the questions, and now you want to summarize what you've just gathered, okay? And now we're going to really hone in on what we're going to talk about today. Because if you try to do everything in one day, they only have about maybe 30 minutes to an hour to really get to the meat of what you're going to be doing today. So if you're talking about a bunch of different avenues or different areas of their retirement, then you're going to lose them, and you're going to get that objection that we all hate to hear. Let me think about it, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing what's important to them today, and then we can always go back and cross-sell. But that's how you make the sale today, right? So we're going to review. We're going to go over. So on Medicare, you have this. You're paying maybe a little bit too much, or maybe it's good. You're good right where you're at, but hey, I'm going to make a note of this. So if you do have premium increases, or if you're not happy, give me a call, or I'll give you a call, and I'll let you know what's new, and we'll continue to review that. Okay, so that's good. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, depending on the situation. Long-term care. Maybe in the long-term care process we went through, maybe there were some emotions that came up. Maybe there was a story that they told, or a situation that got got them concerned or worried about that. So just hit on these things. Hit on all 4 points, or all the points that you're going over. In our case that we went through with the fact finder, it's 4 different areas. So you're going to hit on all those and summarize what you went through, so that they can be on the same page as you. And maybe you'll get some comments or concerns, but make sure when you're going through that, you're summarizing and asking them a question. Do you agree, or is that what you see? Okay, so they're coming along with you. You always want to get their okay to move along so that you don't leave them back in the dust somewhere. They haven't made a turn off somewhere and you keep going thinking you're doing the greatest job, but then you look back and they're way long gone, right? So we want to make sure that questions bring them along with us. Okay, do you understand? Does that make sense? Okay, are you with me on that? All that stuff. So you want to make sure that you're getting them to come along with you. So review the fact finder, go over the different areas, and then you have your open-ended question. Okay, where is that from? So this is not the point to put away the fact finder, okay, and now go on to a presentation or a product. This is not the time to whip open a brochure on a product and start going over features. That's not what you want to do right here. Okay, leave the brochures in the bag because that's not what people buy. They don't care about those things until they understand what it's going to do for them. So we have to dig deeper into the fact finder. That's why we just did it. We just went through the fact finder and asked all the questions so that now we can talk about more in depth where their concerns were. Okay, so if you're an agent that dives into a brochure or a product or think you have to have all these brochures with you, that's not what it's all about, right? Because those are features on a brochure, not benefits. Prospects or clients buy benefits, not features. And I'll do a separate video about what the difference is. But the short synopsis is features is how the product works. Benefits is what that product is going to do for them, okay? And that's what they care about. And then you can do the features afterwards, right? I usually never even mention a product or mention a company until the very end because they don't really care. All they care about is what is that going to do for me? What's the benefit, right? So that's what we got to make sure that we understand, and that's our mentality and how we go through the process. Okay, that's how they think. So open-ended questions. So we're going to go back. Let's say, for example, okay, we uncovered something about long-term care. So they started saying, well, my mom was in a home for 5 years and she had Alzheimer's or she had a stroke or whatever the case is. Okay, we want to go back in and say, you talked a little bit about your mom that had to go into a nursing home. Maybe she ran through some savings. She had to have the family come in and take care of her. You were a little bit concerned about that. Tell me more about that. Okay, tell me more about how you felt about that, what that meant to you, how that affected your family. Okay, so now we're going to dive right into that. Okay, and this is something now they showed a concern, a genuine concern or worry about that. Or maybe it's just Medicare. So maybe it's a Medicare situation where they weren't happy with their doctor or they're paying too much. Tell me why you think you're paying too much. Tell me a little bit more about the situation that happened at the doctor, the specialist, or whatever it is. Go deeper into that. How about the life insurance? If they talk about the life insurance, I got it 20 years ago and I got it because I had a mortgage. Tell me a little bit more about that life insurance policy. This is where you may want to have them get their life insurance policies out to do a review. Let me tell you what I do as a service for you, is I can do a review of your policies. When's the last time you had that again? Okay, a review. Those are important. You want to make sure it's there when you need it or when your family needs it. Okay, tell me a little bit more about your plans right now for life insurance, what you would want that to do, what kind of legacy you would want to have. So use whatever you went through in the fact finder to ask an open-ended question and dive deep into whatever it is their concern was. And I'll tell you what, you know based on body language and based on questions that they're asking you what's most important to them because they're asking the question. That's how you know that that's valid to them. If you continue to go through something and just give them a bunch of information and they're not engaged, they're not asking questions, that's probably not what's important to them right now. So you have to make sure that you get them engaged in asking questions, get them to come forward in their seat, open their eyes. You'll notice a glow, you'll notice something, a trigger point that happens when you're talking about something that's important to them right now. Because that's urgency, that's what earns a client right away. So those are things to pay attention to. So open-ended question, tell me more about that. What did you mean by that? Get them to open up to you. And then once they do that, now we get into feeling. Okay, so we now ask another open-ended question, but now we're diving deeper into, first it was, what do you mean? Now tell me how you felt about that, or tell me how that affects you. Okay, so now we're asking another follow-up open-ended question. So once we get that feeling in, and there may be one more, but at least a couple questions to really open up what this is and why it's important, because this is where the sale is made. The sale is not made in the close. The sale is made right here. This is where you're getting the concern and they're seeing it. Okay, so instead of you telling them, they're telling you now what it is that they need. And that's the difference in 90% of other agents, is they're just pitching a product or peddling products. But if you do it this way, at the end, they're saying, how do I take care of this? What can you do for me on this? Okay, that's what we want to do, because that's service. We're asking questions to come up with what's best for them, right? So follow-up question. Now we want to ask close-ended questions, right? These are yes or no. If you could take care of this, if this wasn't a concern anymore, would that be important to you? If you can sleep better at night knowing this would be taken care of and your legacy would be protected, would that be important to you? Okay, so these are closed-ended questions that are ultimately going to be the sale. So your open-ended question to get them engaged, closed-ended questions to solidify those little yeses so that at the end you get that big yes, right? Or maybe you don't even have to get that big yes. It's just there. It's just assumed. Okay? So that's the process. And now these closed-ended questions, you want to ask 2, 3, or more of those to get them getting involved here and then solidifying it here. That's the presentation. I didn't talk about product. I didn't talk about features or brochures. This is my presentation. Getting them to understand how important it is to them. Okay? And at this point, if somebody is like, okay, how does it work? Tell me how it works. And they're analytical in that way. Now you can break that down with them. You know, depending on the product it is, you can kind of break that down. So this is where we get into the takeaway, which this is the next video that we're going to get into. Okay, and again, I will go through a full video, an extensive video on this area, the presentation, and different maybe live scenarios and things like that in our VIP, the Mentor Haven group. So make sure to go to thebenefithaven.com and sign up with us. You'll be part of a community of agents, as well as having a wealth of value to our library in different products and sales. And I mean, we do all kinds of stuff: referral templates, bio templates, all that stuff for you for your success. And we make it affordable for everyone, because ultimately our goal, my passion, is that you're successful, okay, and that you can enjoy the success in this business that it has to offer. So I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be the takeaway. Thank you.